All right, welcome to CEOess Era Conversations, an evolved experience with the Boss Women Network podcast. I'm your host, Leilani, and this platform is designed for women who are choosing to build from self first foundation, prioritizing alignment, clarity, and well being as the starting point for sustainable success. Today's conversation is one I'm really looking forward to. I am joined by Ms. Octavia Carson. She is a U.S. Navy veteran, intellectual property and trademark attorney, and founder of Carson Legal Strategies, where she helps entrepreneurs, creators, and brand owners protect what they've built. Welcome to the show, Octavia.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I am so glad to have you here. So, I guess let's start your journey. Your journey is powerful. So, let's start here. You worked with the Department of Justice and you served in academia, and now you lead your own firm. Walk us through that transition and what led you to step fully into building Carson Legal Strategies.
Really, my career has evolved a lot from starting in immigration to now having my own intellectual property firm. And that's because when you graduate with a JD, you have endless possibilities, endless opportunities. And sometimes some of them seem a little bit intimidating. And so, the entertainment field in any industry is intimidating. It's like, who's who, and you have to know people, you have to have connections to get into it. So I didn't start off right away in that field, even though
Oh,
I focused on it a lot in school because I felt a little bit intimidated to start in the entertainment industry and the intellectual property industry. Um, I also had a passion at the same time for immigration law because I travel a lot and I really believe in people having the opportunity to immigrate to different places and just in general, having a world without borders. So I wanted to work in immigration to get that experience, and being able to work at the DOJ was just like a big opportunity for me. So I took that rather than looking for opportunities in intellectual property law. I thoroughly enjoyed my experience for 2 years. It was a part of a program it's called Attorneys General Honor Program. So it's meant to be 2 years. It's not really meant to be permanent. I could have continued permanently. I got offered to continue permanently, but then I got an offer to teach at a law school. And that was a once in a lifetime opportunity. Like, who is 2 years out of law school and then becomes a professor? You don't often hear about that.
yeah,
But
that's pretty cool.
yeah, through my scholarly work, my writing, my presence on the internet, my civil rights work within the legal profession. I started my own nonprofit right after law school, aimed at diversifying the legal profession and bringing awareness to systemic injustices within the legal profession, specifically tackling bar exam issues, bar exam reform. I'm actually an abolitionist. I don't believe in reform for the bar exam. I think we need to abolish it.
Hmm.
So
Are
all
you
of
able to, one quick question. Are you able
yeah,
to turn your volume up?
yeah.
You're,
Let me turn it. Is this better? That's just my
no,
regular bottom. Let me get my Zoom settings, audio settings. Does this work better? Can you hear me
say
better?
something again.
Does this work better?
Yes,
That
that's
works
better.
better. Okay, so that's a different setting, but I'm glad it works.
Yes.
Anyway, that is a long-winded way to say I got noticed by a law school in Minnesota, and they wanted me to come in and teach other students a couple of fields like legal writing and criminal procedure. Oftentimes you get noticed by law schools because they also want you to write and publish scholarly works. So I
Hmm.
started working on that, but they also wanted me to move to Minnesota, and I just didn't want to. So after a couple of years, I was like, yeah, I'm not moving to Minnesota. Let me pivot. I went into employment law just out of convenience, um, thinking that it would like lead me to another civil rights, field. Nah, was not for me. So
Mm,
kind of like Goldilocks. I was just like trying different things, trying to see if it fit. And it wasn't for me. So I wound up just saying, let me take that leap and trust myself, trust my skill set, and know that I can do intellectual property and that I do have enough know how and I have enough connections to do it. So
mm.
as soon as I left that employment law job, I started my law firm within 1 month. Um, got my first client soon after that, and now I've been serving some of my clients for a year now, almost a year now. So I'm so happy I entered into this field. I'm so happy I started my own law firm. I'm watching businesses transform and protect their intellectual property. I'm supporting small businesses, small women-owned businesses, like helping the community that looks like me and that
Mm,
experiences the same things that I experience in life.
I like that.
Mhm.
So you went from being an entertainment attorney. You started out in that area.
I started off learning it. I went to law school and I picked that for all of my electives: entertainment
Mm,
law,
mm,
intellectual property law. I did an internship in it, but then felt intimidated. And so I didn't start my first job or
mm.
start my own law firm until about 4 or 5 years later.
Wow. Did you ever work with any celebrities or anybody in the entertainment field before you decided to just, that's not the area I want to?
While in law school, I did some entertainment adjacent stuff. So my law professor worked with entertainers and he gave us the opportunity to work on some stuff. And then um just my professors pretty much connected me with that field, but I didn't have any one-on-one work.
Mm.
It was just mostly internships and then my professors, right? But now that I have my own firm, I've been able to work on at least one pretty big album for a pretty big singer.
Oh, that's cool.
Actually, yeah, I worked with her photographer who did the album marketing photos and everything. Um, I don't think I can like name that person, so I would just leave it at that. But she came out with
Understandable.
a bomb comeback album in February, so people might be able to guess it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah.
That, that's pretty cool.
And her other attorneys recognized me from my professor in law school. So that was really like a full circle moment.
Question, because I don't know anything about the law field. Can you just go from passing the bar exam, getting your law license? Can you go directly from that to starting your own firm, or do you have to go work under some lawyers in a firm first and then go start your own firm? Is that a process that you have to do, or you can just do it?
So in our profession, you can go directly from graduating law school to passing the bar and starting your own law firm. There are a
Oh,
lot of guidelines for starting your own solo practice. So it's not like you're just out there doing whatever you want. You have to adhere to those guidelines. But I do think it's kind of unfortunate that people can do that without having like some sort of incentive to work under somebody or get mentorship, because I think that's a very important step. Like
important.
the legal field doesn't even require you to have internships. I did internships
Mm,
because I wanted to learn from other people. And so while some people might be competent enough to practice solo, or maybe they had a parent or some sort of connection where they saw how a law firm worked and they were able to do it on their own, that's cool. But the
Mm,
majority of us are going in and we don't know too much. And some people start their law firm without like any sort of guidance, you know?
mm,
Um,
mm,
and that's kind of part of my work as like a bar exam abolitionist. It's like you have this bar exam in place, right? Instead of making people study um for 10 weeks, and instead of making law school all about how to prepare for the bar, you can make law school an experiential and practice based like experience. You can make law students be required to have an internship, and
mm,
required to shadow an attorney, and required to go into the courthouses and see how that part of the law functions. But no, the legal profession, as far as like, learning and going to law school, it's all centered around the bar exam for the most part.
wow.
Yeah.
So it's up to you to go get the experience and go find mentors, or just trial and error and accidentally lose your license because you're doing things you don't need to be doing because they don't require you to have to do all those things. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly. And
Mm,
I'm licensed in 3 states. I'm licensed in California, I'm licensed in DC, and I'm licensed in Maryland.
mm,
One of so I got DC and California pretty much at the same time, in 2020. During that time, I was doing a lot of research on ethics in the profession, and specifically how it involves um, Black people and how we might be disenfranchised. And
right.
I learned at that time that Black people were the most susceptible in California, specifically to ethical violations. Not because we are just running amok, but because we come from a background where we're trying to do something good for our community generally. And so if we do come out of law school and practice solo, oftentimes we practice within the community we came from. If
Oh,
the community you came from does not have the means to support themselves, you might be unethically fronting the bill for their lawsuit and unethically managing your money in order to support people with who lack resources.
mm,
Or you might be doing certain things to try to gain some sort of income. Like you might work with someone who's actually not licensed,
oh,
or have some sort of referral system that's not authorized. And it's like you might not have bad intentions, right? But it's just the lack of resources, the lack of know-how, and
mm,
probably the lack of guidance too, because
makes sense.
a lot of us are first generation lawyers.
Makes sense.
They
So, do you have to take the bar exam in all these different states?
yeah, no. Okay, so the question is funny for me because I did not have to take the bar exam in each state. But typically, if you want to get licensed in 2 states in the same year, you do need to take the bar exam for both of those
Mm.
states. You probably have to take one in February and one in July. There's only two bars issued every year. So
Oh, wow.
what happened with me is that I finished law school in 2020, and the process for taking the bar usually involves you taking the bar exam in a large convention center with thousands of people. And we could not do that during 2020.
Oh,
So
that's true. COVID.
they were working on remote methods to issue the bar exam, and states were staggering their bar exam. Some kept the July date and made people come in person in this COVID petri dish. Some did the August date, some did an October date. During that entire time, I remained registered both in California and DC because I didn't know which one I would have the opportunity to take. And I was living in DC, but I had learned how to take the California bar exam. So I was taking my chances. and I was advocating to abolish the bar exam at the same time. So our advocacy ended up paying off in that in DC, they issued us diploma privilege. Diploma privilege is a way, it's an old school way for lawyers to become licensed. Back in the day, like before the mid 1900s, like before 1930, most states, most jurisdictions would grant you your license as an attorney via diploma privilege because they acknowledge that either you did an apprenticeship with another attorney or you had a rigorous law study, like you went to law school.
Is
So
that the thing that Kim Kardashian was trying to do? I don't know if you heard of that or not.
no, Kim
Okay.
Kardashian was doing something that's very unique to California, which is
Oh,
basically you don't go to law school, you do the apprenticeship, but you still have to take the bar exam. So
mm.
back in the day, you do the apprenticeship and then you get diploma privilege, right? So,
Oh,
anyways,
okay.
we were able to get diploma privilege for DC, Washington State, Utah, Oregon, uh, and look, funny enough, Louisiana.
Wow.
Wisconsin has always had diploma privilege. They don't have an in-state bar. They don't have a bar exam for their in-state law school graduates. So
Mm.
I wound up being one of the people that was able to benefit from my advocacy work, and I got diploma privilege in Washington, D.C. The Department of Justice was like, that's not sufficient. You need to take a bar exam. Because there's a lot of prejudice in the legal field,
I bet.
Yes,
Everywhere, not just the legal. Yes.
exactly. They're like, if you didn't take the bar exam, are you really a lawyer? And it's like, well, I attended 4 years of undergrad, 3 years of law school. I passed all my classes. I took all the same tests that I'm about to take on the bar exam, and you don't think I can be a lawyer? Kind of crazy.
Mm.
So I ended up having to remain enrolled in the California bar exam. I took that. I
Mm.
passed the first time, and I
Oh,
got
wow.
in both states without taking a bar exam in both of them.
Wow.
Well, I took one in California, didn't take it in DC. And then for Maryland, I did what's called motioning in. So after practicing for 3 years, you are able to motion in as long as you practice in good standing. And you got to do a couple other things for your applications, get recommendations, do another background check. All of those things is a lot. But you can still be licensed without taking the bar exam. So yeah,
Pretty cool.
yeah,
How
yeah.
many years does it take to become a lawyer for those that's interested in potentially changing careers?
First of all, if you are a Black woman, please come join us. Please. Black woman, Black non-binary woman. If you have a business, go to law school, become a lawyer. If you want to actually practice law, go to law school, become a lawyer. If you want to be a politician, go to law school, become a lawyer.
Wait
Take
a
the
minute, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Yes, yes,
Say that
yes.
again. Repeat that. If you
If
are
you
a Black woman that just own a business, you still suggest to become a lawyer.
highly, I think my law degree grants me a privilege akin to a white woman or a white man. In that like when I'm going into business discussions, I already know a lot of legal jargon. I already know how certain things play out and what I'm supposed to be able to afford. Like for example, I'm looking at some commercial real estate, right? And I can read a commercial lease myself. I can read, interpret it, and understand it myself
Mm.
because of my education in law school and all of my internships and my work, right? So I know going into it what's supposed to be in it and what some sneaky landlord might be adding in there, right? I know, for example, that the first 3 months, if I'm doing a build out, they should practice like good faith and waive those 3 months of the lease payment because I'm doing a build out. I'm enhancing their property. And they should also give me an allowance based
Mm.
on the enhancements that I'm making. I might even be bringing the building up to code. I
Mm.
know unfortunately a story of a woman that lives in Maryland, not too far from here, who opened a fantastic business, a spa, right? She
Mm-hmm.
didn't have an attorney. She did mostly everything on her own, which I'm like, yes, like I'm so happy for you that you felt empowered to do that. However, if you don't have an attorney and you're in a situation like that, you're up against big wigs like landlords who have an attorney.
Mm.
Pay the money to get an attorney, or you're going to pay on the back end, because unfortunately for her situation, she went through a very tough period of financial struggle because she didn't tell them that she needed time to do her build out without paying the lease. So she started paying the lease from day one.
Oh my God. And it
She
wasn't
did.
even ready yet.
Yes, and she
Mm.
was able to negotiate for that allowance, but they did some sneaky stuff and they were like, "Oh, we're not going to give you the allowance because now you're telling us that you're going to use that for marketing. The allowance is supposed to be for the build out. So don't tell them it's for marketing. Tell them that they're paying you back for the build out. And then
Mm.
on your end, yes, you're going to go use that money for marketing because now you have your money back from doing the
Right,
build
right.
out, right? Like you're going to allocate it differently now because you already prepaid for the build out and they're just paying you back. So that's something that I know about as an attorney that someone who's not an attorney wouldn't know about. And there's a ton of other things within navigating the business field that you would find out as an attorney. And yeah, you can hire an attorney and not go to law school. But when I say it is so empowering to step into a room and be like, I
Wow.
am an attorney, I am the attorney, I am my own attorney. With a
Mm.
JD or passing the bar or not, you just know you got that legal education that's going to immediately tell people, do not mess with you. Right.
That's inspiring. That's
And then
inspiring.
as far as a politician goes, if you are a Black woman, you want to become a politician, the statistic is that most politicians have their law degree. And so if you want to have more of a probability of being a successful politician, going to law school is going to boost you. It's going to make you more likely to become a politician, and you're going to understand statutes, and you're going to understand how our legislative system works, all of that, right? So I really think it should be one of the prerequisites. If it's not like graduate from law school, it's like take a couple of
Wow.
constitutional law classes, please.
Question. That's this just stirred up two questions in
Okay,
mind.
okay.
Um, so with all this AI things going on, do you think it's necessary when you can just ask like the AI systems different things about law questions?
Oh
But you're
my gosh.
go ahead.
Okay, so that question kind of puts me back to your first question, and then I'm gonna like connect the two.
Okay.
You asked how long it takes to go to law school. So you got to do undergrad, so that's about 4 years, and then you can go straight to law school. You can get your master's if you want to, but you can go straight to law school after that. That's 3 years. So some people do it part time, and that's four. So it's gonna take you pretty much 7 to 8 years to get
Good
your
Lord. What if you're like me? I have an MBA already.
it depends. Maybe your school would allow you to use some of those credits towards law school. Some people do a fast track and do 2 years. It really depends. Um, I wish law school didn't take so long, but it was rewarding. I'm somebody who thoroughly enjoyed being in law school and
Mm,
thoroughly enjoyed receiving that knowledge and making arguments for why the law should
mm,
change.
mm.
So it really depends. I think it's super worth it. I've convinced one of my aunties to go back to law school. I have a family friend who's basically like an uncle. We graduated at the same time, even though when I was
Wow.
younger, he was in high school. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
I've convinced people to go back. I've gone on this journey with
I mean, I'm
people.
not gonna lie, you convincing me already. I'm like, that makes so much sense.
Leilani, let's go. I will be here
Girl.
for your
Because
whole
you know what? Even
journey.
with an MBA, I'm not gonna even lie to you. The respect level as being a Black woman that's educated, it's still not
It ain't
what it
there.
It's still not. But I feel like what you're saying basically to me is that if you have your law degree, that's a whole different level of respect, even as you climb the ladder in your career, whether you work somebody, get into politics, or you running your own business, the respect level is there
It's so
and the
different.
knowledge on top of it.
It's so different. Trust me, it's so different. Like
Mm,
the sweet taste of privilege is just crazy. Like
okay.
I love having this type of privilege because when you come from not having privilege, it just feels like everything is a struggle. People don't respect you, and you can feel that little bit of difference of like, dang, I don't understand some of this, right? And it is putting me at
Mm,
a disadvantage. But yeah, it gets you into rooms. It unlocks rooms for sure. And I highly recommend it. I think
wow.
only 2% of the legal profession is Black women. So in general, let's just boost those numbers. Come on, join us.
Mm.
It's like a sorority. Come on. It shouldn't be
You
limited,
got
you
me thinking about it. I have
know.
paying out of pocket and all this because I've definitely accumulated my fair share of school loans just getting my master's degree in
I
business.
did not pay for law school. I went to law school for free. Actually, I got paid. I mean, yes, I used part of my 9/11 GI Bill, but
Oh, that's
actually
right.
I only used part of it for the first year, and then I had a 60% scholarship from the school that I went to, a merit scholarship. And
Oh,
I didn't even
wow.
have a high LSAT score or nothing. I had very low LSAT score, and I had like a 3.75 undergrad GPA. So
What?
I'm starting on it's a pretty average, area that got me to over a 50% scholarship from the school. And then I was getting scholarships from other organizations. It's not that hard to get scholarships for law school. People
Does
act
it
like
matter does it matter where, like what age, whatever, as far as scholarships go, or is that just to the younger kids coming straight out of high school?
the older you are and the more experienced you are, the better because people are paying their hard earned money to support you. And if you are older and survived in another career, they're like, yeah, I'll put my money, I'm going to bet on you because I know you're going to come into this profession and you're going to succeed and you're probably going to put money back into the pot with this scholarship.
Wow, I did not
So
know that.
wouldn't you fund somebody who's older
Yes, I
and
would.
experienced
Yes,
rather
you're
than
so
somebody
right
coming
about
right
that.
up? I'm telling you, there's some schools literally have scholarships just for people pivoting in careers.
Wow, that is
And
amazing. You
so,
girl, you just don't know. Just this conversation, you're gonna inspire so many other women because this is when you said you get a privilege, you almost feel like, you
mhm,
know,
you're a
like
boss.
like you fit in with the, because you're not accepted as a black woman in
Yeah.
this society that we work in that's not African American dominated. We're the
Hmm.
minority, but you fit in as almost like you're not one when you have your
Yeah.
law degree to back up your knowledge or your
Yes.
education. So
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
inspiration in itself. I'm definitely going to look into that. What school did you attend?
I went to Thomas Jefferson School of Law. Um, it was a lower ranking law school. They now don't even have their ABA accreditation. But when I tell you
It doesn't even matter what school.
it like if you're already an entrepreneur and you're just using that to level up your career, no. Because going to a higher ranking school will give you the opportunity to work at bigger companies and
Mm,
Fortune 500 companies. Like you'll have a foot in the door at like Apple and Microsoft or bigger law firms like I think it's one called Reed Smiths. But I wasn't
mm,
trying to get into big law, right? I was doing government, nonprofit, and eventually IP. So I
mm.
wasn't too worried about it. I went to that school based on one, how much money they were giving me. I ended up getting a full ride my second year all the way to the end.
Wow.
Yes, because I was number one in my class. So they boosted that 60% to 100%. They
Wow. That's amazing.
they loved on me and supported me like no other. I got into a really bad bike accident and my dean came over to my house while I was concussed and cooked me food and made sure I was okay. A woman.
Oh my goodness.
It wasn't on no weird stuff or nothing. It was just pure familial type support. Uh,
Oh,
and the whole community supported us in our school. Like there was so many alums in that community that made that school just feel so much better and so much connected. And then it was also a higher amount of diversity. So I think
Mm,
the problem with this ranking system is that it's almost a bit arbitrary. Yes, they say it's based on how many students are getting jobs and how much higher LSAT scores they have and all of these data points, but they're not checking for community. They're not checking for the race factor and how safe it is for certain races and genders.
mm,
And they might not even be checking that network in that community, and
mm,
how strong it is. Because had I stayed in San Diego, I probably could have got into some of those big law firms because I had connections like that
mm.
in San Diego. But then me transferring over to DC, I think is what kind of put me at a disadvantage because they started to look more at my school ranking than at what I could offer, right? So
Mm.
there is a sense of elitism, but if we flood the field or at least bring our percentage up with Black women, we're gonna have more opportunities.
I
Cause
love that.
you know what I
That
mean?
is so great. Thank you for sharing that information. That was really a great tip.
If
So,
you don't mind, I do want to answer that one question about AI.
okay, go ahead.
Knowing everything that I just told you and the amount of years we have to go to law school, I think it's kind of obvious to you and everybody else that we should not just trust AI. The experience of a real human attorney is invaluable. We are looking at everything from all different sides of the legal field, from what happens with paperwork and documentation to what would happen if this contract turned into litigation, right?
Mm,
And we're assessing your particular situation for any sort of issue that could come up. If you use AI, also we have ethics rules, right? Does AI have some sort of ethics rule to guide what kind of advice they're getting? I don't think about. Can you sue AI for malpractice? Well, I don't think so. So you want to go with something that's going to give you more surety and something to fall back on. Because yeah,
mm,
there's bad attorneys out there. And you want to hold them responsible, right? But if you think about it, you ask AI one question. It's if I were to give an analogy, it's two-dimensional. I'm
mm,
answering that one question you gave me. I'm not thinking about what could possibly happen in the future or
mm,
case law that I've studied for 3 years or an internship that I took where I saw this one specific different outcome occur that maybe you
mm.
didn't see, as you know the AI didn't see as something that was important to explain to you. So, and AI in general just isn't at that level of being able to be a practicing attorney. It's just not there.
Do you feel like it'll get there in the future?
I think it might take a long time. Like
Mm,
the answers and outputs that I get sometimes, I'm like, one, this case, because I always check things. Like I might use it to start my research so I can figure out what prominent cases are out there for this a particular situation or language, but I also have other databases and like legal search tools that I use. And so I'll check a case that AI like ChatGPT gives me. I'll look for it in Westlaw or LexisNexis. It don't exist, or it's talking about something completely different.
mm,
Same thing with legislative statutes. I'll look up some sort of legislative rule, start with ChatGPT, like what's the DC rule for um like an attorney confidentiality matter, right? Like what's the rule for my client being able to have confidentiality with me on certain things,
mm.
specifically in DC. It'll point me to a statute, but then it's talking about a different type of confidentiality,
Oh,
not the
okay.
full scenario, right? And so it's not
Mm.
there in the fact that like it can't find exactly what you're looking for, but it's still gonna output an answer. I feel like it's
I get
that.
what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just like you trying to say you know something, you should just say you don't know.
Right. I get what you're saying because when I'm researching certain things, it does. it will do exactly what you're saying. It'll pull up something kind of similar, but not exactly what I'm looking for. To the point to where I just kind of quit on it and just try to figure some stuff out on my own. It gets close though, but it's not fully there. So I kind of see what you're saying there. Do you even use AI for anything though, outside of just doing a little research ahead to get
Yeah,
it
it's
started?
so I write a lot. I write a lot of emails. I write for my clients' trademarks. I write contracts, all of that. So some of that writing has to be offloaded and taken off my plate. Um, if I can describe what I want to say to somebody over email in a more
Mm-hmm.
lazy way and have AI like build that up and make it more comprehensible
Right, right. I get what you're
or
saying.
more clear. Sometimes I'm a very blunt person. I like to tell people how it is. I don't really have that sugarcoating filter.
Filter.
I'm a
Yeah.
Capricorn. I never felt the necessity. I'm very like literal.
Mm,
I'm type A. So I will say it the blunt way, right? So
mm.
that AI can help me make it a little bit more sugar coated and add all the niceties, and I can send it over to a
Yeah.
client or
And you don't
send
have to think so hard to figure out how you want to say it and all that. You can just ask AI and it'll come up with something really quick. That is very helpful for me too.
yes, yes,
That makes
yes.
that makes a lot of sense. So in your experience, what are people not protecting that you see mostly that they should be protecting?
It's so crazy because people are more likely to come to me to get a contract done or register their business or have me review a contract. Great. I love doing that, right? But I want to really master trademarks, and I think that people are so afraid of paying the price for a trademark. They don't understand the importance. It's kind of like for them, it's similar to a will. Like, I don't need it till I need it. You know what I mean? And then by the
Mm,
time I need it, I don't know, will I be still doing this business? Will I still be here? Right. But it's like, no, protect yourself. Get your will done ASAP. Get your trust done ASAP and get your trademark for your business before you start it. I've seen so many people who start a business. They're doing an amazing job. They start off small. Now they get in little segments in the news and stuff like that, and the name of their business is not protected, right? And that is so scary because not only are there people who are waiting and eager to copycat your business in some sort of way, but there are people who might also have an existing business with that same name. And now you got an
mm,
issue because they might tell you, they might send you a cease and desist. I've plenty of people, that's the majority of my trademark contract clients. Majority of my trademark clients come to me because they already had an issue and not
mm.
because they're taking preventative measures to protect their brand. And I just really want people to do that more. Like, you starting a business, at least consult with a trademark attorney. I'm about to come out with a nice little guide for people. At least, if I can't be your trademark attorney, let me try to give you resources, right? So the guide is
Yeah.
gonna help show people, is my name trademarkable? Because that's the first thing. You might have a business name that's not trademarkable. Like, for example, the DC t-shirt shop that sells t-shirt, that's not trademarkable. Why? Because you're telling people exactly what you do and the location where you're doing it.
Mm-hmm,
The
mm-hmm.
geographical location is not trademarkable because other
Uh,
businesses that sell t-shirts should be able to use that too. And it's not unique.
right.
You're not coming up with anything that's like intellectual, really. You just use the geographic name, right? That's not a part of intellectual property. And then the fact that you sell t-shirts is super descriptive and generic. So you're not going to
Right.
be able to do that. So I want people to start there. Is what I'm doing trademarkable? And if it's not, you want to maybe think about pivoting, because do you even have a special brand identity? Trademark attorneys can be your partners in that, in the sense that we can help you build a brand identity. You know, if we tell you something is generic, you can go with that name, but maybe you want to think of something that will help your brand like stick out, and then we can get that trademark. And
Yes.
when you own that trademark, you own an asset. It's property. When you
Mhm.
sell your business, when you partner up with another business, let's say you make a CEOness journal and you want to put it in Target. Target's gonna pay you. They're gonna license your trademark. They're going to pay you to put that journal in there because they might have a Target symbol on the back too. Like Leilani's journal is featured in our store, right? And they need to be able to
Mm.
own the license to do that. Like
Uh-huh. Right.
joint ventures with bigger businesses like that without a trademark is a non-starter. They're not even, you
Mm.
come into the table, business negotiations, close the book because this person does not own their intellectual property. And hey, they might even steal that intellectual property because they know.
So true. You know what? Please put in your book when you put it out. And that is something that I do run across with people a lot as far as not having their business trademark. But I worked with an attorney to help me trademark my CEOS. And the reason why I started CEOS, of course, it means a female CEO, of course, but um, I was running Boss Women Network and I wanted to try to trademark that because I kept seeing women in my city create Boss Women this, Boss Women that after I started Boss Women Network. And then when I reached out, he was like, you can't trademark that because somebody already trademarked Boss Women. Now, the woman that trademarked it is in this city. What's crazy because trademark is in the United States, but the just so happened the woman that trademarked Boss Woman already trademarked it from the same city I'm in, and I had started my business before she did. I don't know if I started it before she did, but before she started marketing it, I was already using Boss Women Network.
Call
So, but
me.
she beat me
We
to
gonna
the
talk after this because I can
she
help you
beat
with that.
yeah, so she beat me to the punch with trademarking it. So I started CEOS instead and let them just continue, but I still have the LLC to my Boss Women Network, and he advised me to create my CEOS brand that is owned by Boss Women Network LLC. So one of the things that I just tried to reach out to him again because I keep trademarking different things with it because I want to have all the classes. So somebody can't because I people compete with me. So I don't want somebody to come back and be like, "Well, I'm doing CEOS uh entertainment or just something using that brand." But he was
Yep.
like, you don't need to do that because you've already trademarked this class, and you don't need to do that
Mm,
class because it'll still be a conflict. But I
mm,
was still nervous, about it. And a lot of people don't understand the classes. They think just because
mm-hmm.
you trademark that you sell clothes using this name, that is trademark, that you do business consulting, and it's not. They can still kind of get in there and potentially use the name. So a lot of people don't understand that, and even I didn't. So,
You could shoot law. You go get your law degree. You could be a trademark attorney soon too. In the next 3 years, you know a lot. You know a lot more than a lot of people come to me with. But I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm just letting you know what options exist. And so far as you starting your business before this other person who trademarked their business with the same name or similar name, there is a process with TTAB, which is a trademark review board, where you can cancel someone's contract or trademark because you were the first in use.
mm,
Trademarks
e-
aren't, they're not just owned by the first person who registered it. The true ownership rights belong to the first person who used it if they can catch it soon enough and contest it against the trademark review board.
oh, okay, okay. Hmm. I may have to check into that, but
Yeah.
I had left it alone since I started a new one, and because the CEOS I haven't seen anybody else using that. And then Boss Woman Network, it's about people using Boss Women everywhere. It's like everywhere you look now, somebody's using it. Even in different cities, it's Boss Woman something, Boss Woman this, Boss Woman that. So I'm like, I'd rather stand out on my own anyway than
Yes.
to try to challenge that. Because I feel
Yeah.
like my brand is more unique, and I just decided not to worry about it. And she's from Houston, and I know who she is once I looked it up because I remember her brand, and I don't know her personally, but I seen her around, and I wouldn't even want to challenge her on it because I like what she's doing, and I'm not that type of woman. So I respect other women in business, and I want to see everybody succeed. And if I moved on, you can have it. I can just continue on with my Boss Women Network LLC. Is just the owner of my trademark.
Yes, I love that. There's a whole different perspective that you have to take on it as well. You're not just aiming to register the trademark. You want to see what does it mean to you? Like,
Yeah.
and if it's not valuable in that way, in the sense that your whole brand identity doesn't revolve around it, then you're right. It's not worth it. And I love that you
Mm-hmm.
came up with something totally unique that other people aren't looking for. That is strong brand identity. Because I
Thank
promise
you.
you, Starbucks definitely came out with Starbucks and was like, okay, cool, we're going to keep this because there's not enough another coffee shop actively using this name. So,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to be the next big business, you're gonna have to stand out, and I do think that CEOS stands out for sure.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. That was you just been inspiring me since we've been on this line. And I'm definitely when we get off, I'm gonna go look into what law school that I might potentially think about studying some type of do they have they do have like online because I know I don't have time to go to the school.
Yes. Okay. So there are a ton of online schools. The school that I taught at was technically online for students at Mitchell Hamlin School of Law. They wanted the professors to be in person, but to actually go to the school. But the students are online. They have an online JD program. There's other schools as well. If you go to, I'm gonna shout out to this Instagram page. And this business is called Becoming JD. So they
Hmm.
do a lot of promoting people to go to law school, specifically Black people. And they have a few slides, if you look on their page, that shows all of the law schools with online JD programs.
Oh
So
wow.
that's a good research to start. Of course, you can Google it, but if you go to that page, he also shows um, which schools have scholarships and how long the programs are, and gives you advice for applying. So and for non-traditional students, it's a really good resource because who wants to spend all day trying to apply to law school when you can just go in
I
one place
know.
for the resource? Yeah.
Who wants to spend all day? Um, so you we'll go back into my little questions I have because I kind of been asking them because I have a
Mhm.
list here, but I've kind of been asking them, or you've been answering them organically without me having to ask them.
Mhm.
Um, so you balance like having a demanding career with the desire for freedom, travel, and self-care. How did you learn to create the balance intentionally, balancing everything?
I actually learned it just before going to college, just before going to undergrad. My mom's a hairstylist, and I spent a lot of time at her hair salon. And I was all up in her clients' businesses all the time because they were so cool. All these Black women coming in with different careers. They got kids. They did, all these life paths. So I was pretty much interviewing them. That's why I went to college for public relations and journalism because I thought I was
Oh,
real good at interviewing people. Anyway, so I talked to one specific woman who was my mom's client, and she was telling me that while she was in undergrad, she got a full scholarship and she chose to travel the world. You know what I mean? While she was in college, she used her scholarship to be able to travel to different places, study abroad. She got more scholarships to do other traveling experiences in between the semesters. And I was like, you know what? That's a good idea. I have never been out the country at that point. And
hmm.
so I don't know if she told me this or if I just came up with this myself. I was like, I'm not waiting until retirement to go experience the world. And I'm not about to, I saw people, you know, in college who were just worker bees, you know what I mean?
Mm,
Just trying to prove something, just working like crazy. I knew, listen, these people are not going to get all of me like that. Like, I'm going to succeed. I'm going to be the best student I can, but I did not want to fall into that trap of like burning out in college.
mm.
I also knew I was going to go to law school. So I wanted to take it slow. So I spent a lot of time traveling in law school. I went to 14 different countries while I was
Wow.
in law school. Yes, every year, every semester, I was gone somewhere. And seeing how people live in other countries, a lot of places, like a lot of countries in Asia, is just they're just chill, you know, like
Mm,
um Thailand, Vietnam, the
mm,
Philippines. There's a lot of people who are having a real nice slow day chill. You go to Spain, you go to Central America and the Caribbean, Spanish speaking countries specifically, and they take siestas and they say tranquila, which means you're taking a nap and you're going to be calm, right? And I wrote a whole little article about this, a blog, my travel blog one day. I don't do that any the travel blog anymore right now,
mm.
but I wrote about having siestas, the naps, and being tranquila, being calm. And that just taught me like to have a balance, to not wait until retirement to experience life fully. And
Mm.
that has just continued until now. And then right now, just in general, I think a lot of us are on a big soft era lifestyle. Like
Yeah.
there's a trend toward self-care right now. So I've learned a lot through that too, through social
Mm.
media. Like, let's go, make sure you go to the spa every once in a while.
Yes.
Make sure you go get your massage. I get a massage every month. I go get a massage every month.
Every month.
Spend your hard-earned money on a massage. It pays dividends. Because I come back home
Mm.
and I can sleep real good at night. If you're having sleepless nights,
Really?
go
I'm gonna
pay
put that in
$100.
my to-do list of self-care.
Get you a spa that you love and that you can keep going back to. Do that. Get you a therapist.
Mm.
It's absolutely worth it. It pays dividends. Even if you are struggling and you only got a little bit of money, find a thing that you can afford that you can spend that money on, and do it
Mm.
regularly, because that is going to sustain you as you build yourself
Great
up.
advice.
Yeah.
Great advice. I love it. Um, so that is so basically that was my next question because you said something powerful like taking care of yourself isn't a luxury, it's the foundation. And so basically that's what you're saying, taking care of yourself first.
Yeah, nobody is going to be perfect in being able to give themselves self-care, especially when you're a busy entrepreneur, because sometimes you're just going to be in grind mode. Like
Yes,
I spent all of last week pretty sick. I got the flu. It sucked, right?
I
But
bet.
I had clients I had to get work to. I'm a solo practicing attorney. Eventually, I do want to have associates working with me.
Mm.
But for right now, that is the position that I'm in. So I have to take client calls. I had to produce certain documents for my
Even
client.
though you were sick with the flu, you still had to work.
I had
Wow.
to. We have to do that.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
wish I could have just laid in bed. I was tired. I didn't feel good at all. And I wanted to just lay in bed, but I did it. And it kind of made it easier to do it because I had just got back from a trip. I had just
Okay.
been in Cuba for a week, actually.
Wow.
And in Cuba, you don't have cell phone service like nowhere. There's like it's hard to get Wi-Fi. Everybody
Oh no,
chilling. It's great. It's great. Everybody
it
knew
is. That's hard. I don't.
you you knew I was out on vacation because I told you too. So, or at least your assistant, right? And so like
Oh,
I had my, my vacation responder on. I had just been chilling.
you
I
sure
was on
did.
tranquila mode max, right?
Mm,
Because I had no way to really, engage in a whole bunch of like reading emails, being online,
mm.
working, working, working.
Force you to shut down away from business,
I
being.
shut down and then come back 1 week later. It sucks. I got sick, but the reason why I was able to push through a little bit is because I had just had a great vacation.
Election. How many vacations do you take a year? How many trips?
So I try to go to 3 new countries every year. That's
Hmm.
why I'm at 43 now.
Wow.
After 14 years of traveling, I'm at 43. So I try to do at
Wow.
least 3 new countries. But this year I had a special challenge of trying to travel every month. Now,
Whoa.
that didn't have to be in the country, right? So my
Oh,
first in January, we actually just did a cabin trip up in Virginia, about 2 hours away, and
okay.
it might have been top two vacation this year, even though I've been to Cuba, Paris, Cuba, France, Finland, and Puerto Rico as well this year.
Hmm.
Um,
This year,
and I'm about to go
girl.
to Bahamas. But that camping trip was
Wow.
nice. It was real nice. It was nice and chill. It was cold and snowy, and we were just like snuggled up. We had a fire. The dog was running around outside. Like
Oh, that sounds nice.
the camping trip was amazing. Traveling to other countries is a little bit more rambunctious. You want to see everything. You want to do everything. But that camping trip was just, I don't know,
Mm.
rejuvenated my soul.
So are you afraid when you travel to these different countries? Because you know they have different rules and laws and regulations and things like that. How do you
Nope.
prepare yourself?
So you do have to be smart about it. Um America is a very dangerous and scary place in and of itself. You
Mm.
know what I mean?
That
Like
is so true.
I grew up in Michigan. Detroit has a very bad rep for, a lot of crime and violence. I've lived
Right.
in DC. I've ventured around New York solo. All these places.
Solo in New York? What?
Yeah, yeah. Day trips to New York, day trips to LA. Michigan's not far from Chicago, so I took day trips there.
What? Okay.
Yes, I ventured around everywhere solo in the US.
Okay.
So when you think about going to faraway places like big cities like Hong Kong or Paris, I spent a little bit of time by myself, or London, it's not as scary when you compare it to the US. You just have to do the same types of safety precautions, right?
Okay.
keep
Okay.
your keep your purse or your bag in the front of you. If it's
Mm.
necessary, keep it underneath your jacket or your shirt, right?
Right. Right.
Look behind you. Look to see if somebody's been following you. For the most part, don't talk to strangers. Kind of blend in and look straight. There's gonna be some amazing people that you meet along the way, but your body knows when something doesn't feel right. So you have to
That's so
follow that
true.
intuition, right? I went to the Netherlands. I was having me a good time. I was all by myself, right? I'm walking down the street with some headphones on, blah blah blah, like just doing I looked like I was probably from Amsterdam, for real. I
Really?
had the over the ear
Okay.
headphones, everything. And this guy stops me. We're both in the middle of the street. He stops me. He's like, "Hey, you look like you're having a great time. You want to go meet up at the cafe right now?" Which, they got, weed cafes in in Amsterdam. So that's what he was
Yeah, I
saying.
know, but that would have scared me for
It
somebody
was
stranger
it
to.
would scare you, but my body, my intuition knew this person is not harmful. I know what a creepy man looks like. Well, I know how they confront you. I knew in that moment that if I told him no, he'd have been like, "All right, cool."
Okay.
So and we're in a public place, we're going to a public place, right? So I went over to the cafe with him. I can't even to this day remember his name. We never exchanged phone numbers. We only just organically had a platonic great time, like
Oh,
dance,
that's pretty
drink,
cool.
and then he like walked me to the bus to go back to the hostel that I was staying at, and done. We shared about our traveling experiences. We shared with each other just like different stories, and it was a great time. He left
Oh, that's
an
pretty cool.
amazing impression on me, and so many people all around the world have done that. Like
Mm.
I have usually two lounge passes. I get in the lounge, I can take a guest. I often travel by myself, right? So one time I'm in a airport lounge in Japan. I get up to the lounge, I'm about to go in, and I notice a guy who he wasn't able to get into the lounge, even though he thought he had the right card or the ability to get in. And I was like,
Right.
hey, you want to use my guest pass? And
Oh.
people all around the world are paying it forward. People all around the world are nice. Like if you're worried about traveling by yourself, there's a couple of things you should do. First, you should get this book called Talking to Strangers. I
Mm.
can't remember the name of the author, but it might be Talking to Strangers or Talking with Strangers. I actually did an audio book version of that, so you could just listen. It was great. And it talks about how the majority of people that you meet are well intentioned and they're okay, right?
Ah.
They're safe. And then it talks about the statistics of like, when it might not be safe, right? And it talks
Mm.
about different scenarios of when it might not be safe. So I think it's important to kind of like get that knowledge of like, in general, how safe
Mm.
am I, like talking to a stranger or going somewhere by myself?
Right.
Research a company, a country. There's so many travel blogs out there now, and I'm so
That is so
jealous
true.
because
YouTube is a
I've been traveling for 14 years and I never had like a big major travel blog or nothing. I have a little Instagram page called Travel While I'm Young. Follow me. um, but there's so many people who talk about solo travel for women, solo travel for queer women, solo travel for queer men, black women, um, all of that, right? And so you can look at that on the Facebook page, on YouTube, on Instagrams, and you can select the countries you want to go to first. I'm going to tell you
mm.
right now, Singapore is one of the most safe places you can be in any demographic, man,
Really?
woman, child, whatever. It's a very safe country. You can walk around. So get your flight to Singapore, make that your first place that you're going to go.
I am not traveling alone, but
Rwanda in
I,
Africa.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid to travel in my own city alone. This world is so chaotic, but I'm definitely gonna get that book. I don't go anywhere without my husband or my
And you
unless I'm
have that.
going to work or something like that, gas stations and things of that sort. But for the most part, traveling alone, no way.
It's beautiful that you have that. Like having your husband, having your trusted partner is obviously preferable because y'all probably really enjoy each other and want to go
Yeah.
have that experience
Yeah.
together. But
Yes.
in college, I wasn't really worried about no relationship. The person I was dating at the time were like, "You so selfish. You always gone." And I was like, "You should be happy for me." And then we broke up.
Girl, I know you did not do your college
My college
partner.
bay. We're gonna let it was
Yeah.
it was a guy, but we're gonna let that go. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even want to date guys at the time. I didn't even know what I was doing. So
Oh my goodness, that is
bes-
too funny.
besides that, there's a lot of young people who will not travel be or go out of the country for studying abroad or whatever because their significant other or their partner at the time doesn't want them to go or they have that
Oh,
attachment.
okay.
And young people, do not, if you're listening, do not let that stop you. Your partner should be happy for you and they should be trying to figure out a way to go visit you in
That's
that
right.
country.
Mm.
Having a perspective of the world in another place is invaluable, and you're not going to get it from books, especially in the US. There's a lot of propaganda out here about how the world is, and you just won't understand how the world works until you get
Mm.
there.
That is such great knowledge to share. Is it as racist
Mhm.
in other countries as it is here
Um,
to black, like a
for
black people?
yeah, like Central, South, and South America and the Caribbean, you can experience a lot of racism in some places because they have the
Mm.
same type of history of the transatlantic slave
Oh,
system
okay.
and
Okay.
the caste system. And other black people having colorism and stuff like that. So
Mm, mhm.
it's like America in a different language or a different font.
Got it.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? But
Hmm.
when you go to travel into places that are homogenous, meaning that like you're in China and most of the people are just Chinese, right?
Right.
They're looking at you and they might make you feel uncomfortable. You might feel like they're being racist or something like that, but they're looking at you because a lot of them ain't never seen a black person. A lot of them ain't never seen
Right.
curly hair, kinky hair. A lot of
They're
them
shocked.
they never heard our accent. Maybe they saw it in the TV, and TV is a whole nother thing than your personal experience in life
That's
and you
so
and
true.
your family and how y'all do things, right?
That's so
So
true.
you have to be a little patient. You're going into their world, right? First of all. So you shouldn't expect them to treat you, how you want to be treated in the US. Like that's their world. They've already built that. You might
That's so true.
inspire and teach people along the way, but you might not affect a ton of change in their systems right away because you're a minority in a homogenous country and a lot of people they don't know you, they've never seen a black person, they never seen maybe outwardly expressive queer people. There's queer
Mm,
people everywhere, but a lot of us are suppressed, right? And
right.
so you have to have patience in that area and realize that it's not you. They don't have a problem with you. They probably don't even have a problem with your demographic. They're just ignorant to these things and don't.
Ah,
So, yeah, you're gonna experience similar things to racism in other places, but you got to see the silver lining in that you're gonna see way more people who are gonna respect you
embrace you.
and embrace you exactly.
Okay. That's okay. I feel good about that because I have not been out of the country. Everything has been traveling in the United States, not outside of it. But we talk about getting outside of it, getting our passports and just go ahead and making some other memorable moments. Because I'm actually kind of bored of the travel that's just in the United States. There's nothing I'm excited about going to
Yeah.
here. It's nothing exciting. Have you been
Yeah.
to, did you say you've been to Africa?
Yes, I've been to a lot of countries in Africa. I've been to Egypt, I've been to Morocco, I've been to Ghana, Togo, Benin, Rwanda, South Africa, and
Oh,
Ethiopia. I think
wow.
that's it. So
Wow.
I've covered north, south, east, and west.
Goodness.
I want to go to more places. Um, our people are amazing.
So did you feel any type of racism there?
um,
And where's majority of black people? I know South Africa is a lot more diverse, right? But
Right, yeah. So like South Africa has a large population of European people compared to
mhm.
other areas in Africa because they were colonized by a lot of different countries in Europe, specifically by the Dutch. And so that's a different thing. They're still kind of struggling with a little bit of racism and yeah, they got their own issues there, right?
Ah,
But there's still an overwhelming amount of black people in South Africa. Like it's still a black country, right? So like
okay. I
you're
wanted to know because I've never been, so I didn't know that. Okay.
you're walking around just imagine you're walking around downtown Cape Town or Johannesburg. I've been to both places and all you see is Black executives,
What?
Black children. You got the Black, B-boys, the people who skating. You got the sister wearing heels, about to get on the bus, go to work. It's lit. You got South Africa. Folks down there have the most beautiful locks. Like the men, you know how Wale always has different styles and
Right.
stuff like that. The men
Mm-hmm.
there go crazy with their lock styles, and it's
Mm.
everywhere. You get on one of their major metro trains. You see the dudes just like dressed to the nines with their beautiful lock styles. You see the sisters
Wow.
doing the same thing. They got a pretty big queer population there too. Even though, like the government wise, they're not supportive of their queer
Oh, they're
community.
not. Okay.
But you know what I mean? We still exist, and you can go to a queer club. There's a queer street out in Cape Town and everything too. So, um, amazing, beautiful place. Highly recommend. Go out there, go do
Hmm.
some wine tasting out in the countryside. Go on some safaris. I don't really mess with the drive through safaris in your own car and roll down the
Yeah, I'm
window. I
scared
don't
of that.
I don't do that.
The tigers.
Yeah, but I did a
They
different
walk up
type.
to you.
Yeah, I did a different type of safari. I actually rode through the park on a bike, and it wasn't like you don't expect to see any of those big animals. There was some ostriches
Oh,
running next to me, and they're humongous, but they're very gentle. If you keep your space, they go keep their space.
oh,
So,
okay. That would have
a-
terrified me.
and I had a guide and all of that. So
Oh,
it was.
okay.
I
Okay.
stay on the safer side of adventure. Like I'm gonna
I
be
definitely would do
adventurous,
that. Okay.
but I'm not gonna do it. In certain countries, you could pose next to a sleeping tiger. I'm not nah, because if they wake up, nah. But
Mm.
yeah, for the most part in Africa, everybody is lovely and welcoming, especially Ethiopia. They love us. They love Jamaicans, Americans, Ghanaian people love us. You have to learn how to navigate it because those are still countries who are cool with like bartering everything down to
Oh,
the
okay.
visa. You show up in Ghana and they like, oh, you don't got the right visa. Pay me $125 when it's really only supposed to be 75, and then you got to bargain them down to get your visa. So
Really?
you got to be
Dang.
patient with do your research, be patient with some of these systems because it's just not the same as the
Mm.
US.
Mm.
That is what it is. But our people are lovely out there in Africa, North Africa, like Morocco and Egypt. You're not going to see a lot of Black people. You're going to see a lot of people who have more like Arabic roots from the
Oh,
Middle
okay.
East, and a good mix. But we got our Nubians out in Egypt, and they're very proud Black people.
So
Um,
did you get out there and start feeling like maybe Jesus was black? I know I hear a lot of people saying stuff like that after they visited.
Ethiopia is the birthplace of Christianity. Quit playing. They were practicing Christianity before the Europeans. Jesus is
Mm-hmm.
black. It's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus probably came from somewhere over there in Ethiopia.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yes. And so is what's his name? My bad. Muhammad. The prophet. He's black.
Moses.
Buddha might be black too. I don't know.
What? Mm.
Like humans come from Africa. Like there's so much connecting, the start of human life back to Africa. And when you travel around Africa, they are going to remind you, especially South Africa and Ethiopia, they're going to remind you that they have some of the oldest found human bones
Wow.
those
Okay.
in those two countries.
Okay. I'm gonna put that on the list. I just know that the flight is so long, and I hate being on a plane that long. But I think it's like a 16-hour flight or something like that.
Yes, break it up.
Mm.
Take depending on where you want to go, you go from East Coast of the US over to like Paris, London. Those are
Oh,
usually
okay.
cheaper places to fly into. Spain, right? You go from there And then you could fly into like Turkey, for example. Then you have a shorter flight over to Ghana, or you go from Spain. You can go right into Morocco from Spain and
Okay.
Egypt for like a couple hours. It's
Oh,
it's
okay.
very
So you
it's
just
very
okay.
you just go right
That
there.
sounds a lot better than that 16-hour flight.
Break it up and give yourself a few days in between to enjoy that other place. That's actually how I've stacked a lot of
Oh,
my
that sounds
countries.
fun too.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, you know how to take some trips. Okay, okay. T.
I'm out here. Like I'm addicted to traveling. It is my guilty pleasure. I don't smoke, I don't drink, but I will just go buy a random
Enjoy
ticket.
life.
I'm gonna go buy a random ticket somewhere and people might think I'm crazy. Like, you said you going to the Bahamas now? And you know what I mean? I'm planning a trip for July. Like
That's good mental health, self-care. I'm
yeah.
sure that
Yeah.
feels good. Before we get out of here, because this was like one of my longest interviews because we just talking and talking. It sounds so interesting. You say you created a nonprofit that supports Black Bar exam applicants. I know you touched on it a little bit. Can you give a little bit more about that and how people can get involved?
Yes, go to blackbarapplicantfund.com. You will see more information about the nonprofit and how I founded it, why I founded it. You'll see our applicants and people who have received our scholarships since its inception in January 2021. We have given more than 100 scholarships to people who are studying for Black people studying for the bar exam specifically. Follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Instagram, we're Black Bar App Fund. LinkedIn, Community Fund for Black Bar Applicants or Black Bar Applicant Fund. You can search both of those or look for me, Octavia Carson, Attorney Carson, and then you'll see that connected to any of my pages. Facebook, Community Fund for Black Bar Applicants. When you follow these pages, you will see how to donate or you'll see how to apply for the scholarship. We typically ask for, any amount of donation, but at least $500 will make a huge difference because we try to give at least a $500 scholarship to the applicants that are selected, right? And that is because that amount can make a huge difference for them paying for their registration fees
Hmm.
or their books. It costs anywhere between $400 to $1,800 to register for the bar exam. It can
Wow.
cost from you can get some cheaper study materials for like 200 to $5,000 for study materials or mentoring, bar exam prep courses, things like that. And it's honestly very necessary. You can't just you know, walk in one day and take the bar exam. You got to study, you're going to need the materials, and you probably will need someone there to help you and hold you accountable. And on top of that, you have to pay for your cost of living. You shouldn't work during that time, at least not full time, right? So
Hmm.
10 weeks not working or not working full time or taking maybe you take 2 weeks off at the end
Hmm.
to finish that final ep of studying. You're
Hmm.
going to have to sustain yourself. So it is recommended that you save up to $15,000 to study for the bar exam and to take the bar exam. And
It costs $15,000 to take the bar exam.
it is recommended that you save that amount so that you can pay for your registration, pay for your living expenses, pay for your study materials or your courses, your bar exam prep courses. Yes.
Got it.
Because I took my test in during 2020 and the exam kept getting pushed back. I spent more than $23,000.
Wow.
I had it saved up from all the scholarships that I got. I got a lot of bar prep scholarships.
Hmm.
So I had the money saved up and I didn't work from March 2020. My job got cut short. I was working at a federal court in the judge's chamber, and uh, during COVID, they were like, you can't come in here, right? So
Oh, goodness.
I stopped getting
Okay.
my stipend from that job. My next job with the Department of Justice wasn't supposed to start until October. So I had no income. I applied for jobs.
Wow.
I couldn't get them. And then on top of that, I couldn't work full time because I was actually studying for the bar exam and I didn't know when it was going to happen.
Mm.
So yeah, I had to get a new computer to make sure that it would be fast enough and that it would support this new software and stuff like that. So yeah, it was like really expensive. And in general, my fund is there to make sure people know they have support to put the word out. If people don't
Mm.
donate to me, the least they can do is try to reach out to their local law school and their local law student, be like, what you need? Can I buy you a meal today?
Oh, okay.
How can I support, people in my community that are trying to pass the bar, So, and we have a lot of people that do reach out that are like, hey, who do you have in Indiana specifically that's studying that is one of your Black Bar applicants? And we might connect them with someone. So it might be a practicing attorney, it might be a sorority or fraternity that learned about our organization and they want us to send them one of our applicants. And then they want to
Okay.
support them personally or within their organization's capacity. So
Mm.
we do a lot of connecting um, applicants with other resources. I try to do some mindfulness classes with them. I don't do them personally. It's another woman, Jennifer Duclair. She has an organization. Her business is called the Bar Exam Mentor, and it's more focused on having mindfulness while studying for the bar exam. That
Mm.
sister is powerful. She
Mm.
knows her stuff. I did a couple of mindfulness circles with her myself while I was studying, and I really think that got me
Mm.
past the finish line. Because
Because
after
you
this
say you passed it on the first try,
um,
right?
first try, she had us like imagining ourselves sitting, taking the exam, and doing great and getting through all the questions and passing. You
How
know what
many
I mean?
questions is it?
You're okay. So it's started to change a little bit, but when I took it, it was 200 multiple choice questions for one day,
Mm.
and then six essay questions that were an hour each. And then you have an MPRE, which is this like this set of uh legal information, right? Like you got all the law, you got the statute, you got previous cases, and then you have a fact pattern that requires some of that information. And so you're supposed
Mm.
to basically write a brief or an opinion, whatever type of writing they tell you to do, you just write it in that moment. I think
Mm.
you had like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to write something that they were asking you to write based off of the material
Mm.
that's in your packet. So yeah, I think in total it's like 18 hours across 2 days. Something crazy like that.
You say how many days?
Two.
2 days. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like 9 hours each day or something like that.
Wow. I'm surprised the brain isn't getting exhausted trying to test that long.
My brain was mush. I only recommend doing a full bar prep, like realistic tests before the bar exam twice.
Oh, okay.
Or because any more than that, you'll be burnt out. So
Mm.
do a full practice at the beginning when you don't know nothing. So you can, when you don't know what you don't know, so you can kind of adjust your study schedule
Oh,
based
okay.
on what you couldn't get right. And then do it in the middle way so you can figure out what you were able to learn, like how far did you get and what you might
Mm.
need to brush up on towards the end. Then when you get to the end, you're just doing a few questions here and there. You're not doing full tests. A full test will take you
Okay.
out. I was sick as a dog the next day, and I had to work
Wow.
the next day after the bar exam my stomach, my head, and I
Wow.
tried to get some. I was like sitting there with Vicks and ginger ale. I was like, Mom, it's not working. Like you told me to get some Vicks and ginger ale. It's not solving this issue.
Oh God.
So yeah,
Whoa.
I was tore up, and it happens to a lot of people. Like when I
Mm.
tell you the mental health issues that people have while they're studying for the bar exam and after one is devastating. Like there's so many people that commit that suicide, that unalive
Oh
themselves.
gosh, is that
Yes.
serious?
Yes. One of the scholarships that I received to study for the bar exam was named after a young man who committed suicide while he was studying for the bar exam. I want there to be a legislative bill that prohibits bar exams, and I want them to name all the people who committed suicide while they were studying for the bar exam.
Wow. That's
Because
crazy.
if you look around you, you look at the internet, you talk to people, you're only going to hear, oh, such and such took the bar several times and just didn't pass. It's so devastating, right? Or you see all these success stories, amazing, like so happy for everybody who passed and who made it. But
Hmm.
you don't hear the stories about the people who literally lost their lives because of the
Oh
pressure.
yeah, that's sad.
Right, the is ridiculous. It's like, and it's all derived from a system of racism. I have this book that talks about the founders of the bar exam and the founders of the ABA, the American Bar Association. And
Hmm.
basically, they were trying to find a way to gatekeep the profession. They're like, the longer you can keep people in school and make them take tests and spend their money, the more elite the profession can be, meaning they can get rid of blacks and undesirable whites.
Mm.
They literally
That's
say that.
crazy.
They literally said that. Like that's a quote.
Wow. That's crazy. Let me ask this. Is the bar exam anything like other tests? Because I know I went and got my real estate broker license, and I know this is something way
Mhm.
nowhere near on the level. But what I'm asking is, it's a different type. It's a different test every time you take it. So no matter how much you study, it's going to be different material, similar but different every time you take it. It's never the same test if you fail. Is that what the
Right.
bar exam is like?
Right, exactly. So we know the topics that they cover. We know it's going to be civil procedure. We know it's going to be criminal procedure, criminal law. We know it's going to be torts. And all of these, I think there's like 18 to 20 different types of law that they could test you on. But we don't know what questions they're going to ask. We don't know it every year it could be completely different. We know sometimes they recycle questions, so it's a good idea to like try every to study every past question if you can find them.
Mm-hmm.
But they use sometimes different names, they change the scenario a little bit. It's completely
So
different.
same. That's why it's hard because it's different tests almost every time you take it. I mean,
And
it's similar, but it's different. So when you think you
it's all
figured something
memory.
out,
Is all like you have to memorize all that law except for that MPRE where they give you the packet. Everything else
hmm
is memorized. Now, nowadays they have the next gen bar exam that's not all memorized, but for the most part, it's all memory. And I don't want to push anybody away from joining the profession. It's rapidly changing, especially since our advocacy in 2020, which has continued. The profession, the people at the top are feeling pressure because we brought awareness.
mm,
I was a part of the group United from Diploma of Privilege, which helped me start the Black Bar Applicant Fund. And then now there's committees dedicated, uh, uh, dedicated to abolishing the bar exam, to law students' mental health, to
mm,
bar applicants' mental health. As a bar applicant, you're neither a student nor a lawyer. So, what resources do you have? Your law school might give you a little bit, but you're not a lawyer yet. So, your bar association, they have a resource for lawyers. Like the
mm.
lawyer assistance
Oh,
program
mm,
is gonna help you get like um therapy classes, budgeting, insurance, all these different things. You can call the bar association as a lawyer and be like, hey, I need XYZ resources. I called
Mm.
them while I was studying for the bar exam, and they were like, I don't know what to tell you. You're not a lawyer, and you're not a lawyer.
Wow.
Yes. But it's
Mm.
getting better. Like, we're pushing them to change in so many ways. We're making it um more of a like a better environment for women too, because you
Mm.
wouldn't, like, this might sound uh like, it might seem like it should be obvious, but women can't take, like, in some places, tampons and pads into the bar testing area, right? Because
What?
they think you're hiding like the answers or study material in it or something. So we actually advocated and pushed them to allow women to bring their tampons and pads
That
into.
is crazy. That is crazy. Wow, that is so crazy. So with your, do you have to renew it every 2 years, or once you have your license, you have it? You just can't do
every
anything to be able
year
to mess it up.
every year you gotta pay the bar association, ching ching ching, you gotta pay them
Mm.
money to
Mm.
renew. So like, California, I pay a little over 600 something for my dues. uh DC, I'm at like maybe 300 something. And
Mm.
Maryland, I just joined last year, so I've paid like a little over 100 for some sort of fee. I don't really know what it's for.
Oh, okay.
And then now I'm in the fall, I think I'm coming up on a fee that's due for my dues, but it might be lower, like 200 range. So far, California is the most expensive. It is the most expensive place to take the bar exam,
I
and
bet. And to
to
live, one of them.
to live and to renew. But with all, I do not want to leave on a low note like that. With all that being said, I would not change my profession for the world. Like, yes,
Mm.
it's hard. Yes, a lot of people don't choose to continue in this profession, but the knowledge that I've gained over time, the respect that I get as a lawyer, I'm willing to stick it out, one, but transform the profession while I'm doing it so that it's more conducive for the people that are coming next. Because
Mm.
you, like, everybody should want a Black woman attorney, because we handle, like, we get things done. We're smart, we're
Mm.
tenacious, we survive in a world that's not made for us at all.
That's
And
so
so, like,
true.
everybody should want us, and I believe in us so much, so I'm sticking it out. I'm motivating every Black person, every Black woman, to go ahead, get your law degree, use the resources so that you don't have to go through all of those tough times. Try to
Mm.
find ways to get financial resources so you can afford law school, so you can afford studying for the bar exam. It's out there. I did not pay for law school. I did not pay for the bar, my bar study. I started a nonprofit so other people have financial resources. Like, I'm not I'm special. Like, I'm special because I have something like a spark that's
Mm.
unique, but in a sense I am a very normal person. You
Mm.
know what I mean? Like, I'm a
Yeah,
very normal person, and I do believe that everything that I've done other people can also do.
that's so true. You just got to apply themselves.
Yes.
That's a great message. I was just going to ask you before we close, what is one thing that you want every woman building something right now to remember? But that's basically it.
Yes. But
Get your law
yes,
degree.
get your law degree.
Mm.
Get your law degree, sis. And if you are in business, get a trademark attorney, get a business law attorney. Not every business law attorney is good at doing trademarks. Not every trademark attorney is good at doing business. So vet your people. And if you got to get both from two different people, do it. It's gonna pay dividends.
So, again, for those that want to connect with you, where can they find you?
Find me on Instagram. I love being on Instagram. So at Attorney Carson, DM me there, comment on one of my pictures. You can find me there. And on my website, go to carsonlegalstrategies.com. If you comment, I have a little comment box, or if you schedule a meeting with me, best believe me or my manager, my law firm, we're gonna get back to you. Yes. So so you can reach out to me in both those places, Instagram and my website.
All right. Well, to anyone listening, this is what the CEOS era conversations is all about: real conversations, real women, and real growth. And we'll see you next time at the next episode. And thank you guys for tuning in. And thank you so much, Octavia, for being a guest. You were really helpful. You inspired me. And I love to have women on the show that inspires other women and uplift other women, because that's what this is all about: uplifting other women. And of course, uplifting women like us, women of color. And it's not just
Yes.
Black women, other women of color go through similar things too. So
Yes. I am Latina, by the way, as well. I'm half Latina, half Black.
what?
Yes.
You got a blend. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? You a blend of
Yes.
the
I'm
mix of,
half
see,
Puerto
so that's
Rican.
why other women of color all
Exactly.
different. So
I did not mention that because I
so
don't
you
know
speak
why.
so you speak Spanish.
Un poquito. I
Okay,
speak a
so
little bit. I'm very conversation. I'm very conversational. I can hold a whole conversation in Spanish. I understand.
really?
Yeah, I understand more than I can speak though. Yeah,
Oh,
I can
that's
do
pretty cool.
conversations, translations, all that.
That is pretty cool. So see, like I
Yeah.
said, uplifting women of color. So, and all women, of course, all women go through different
Yes.
things. I don't care if you what color you are.
Y-
We're still the underdogs. I don't care what color of a woman you are. We're still the underdogs. But of course, women of
Yes,
color, we still have a little bit more of a fight.
we do.
But thank you
We
everybody for tuning in. Thank you again, Octavia, and until next time. Bye.
thank
You are
you.
so welcome.
You are amazing, Leilani. Like,
Thank
I love
you.
it. You're so like calm and motivating and validating. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Maybe you know what? I would like to invite you back to
Mm,
do, if you're ever available, I like to do roundtable discussions with other women.
mm.
Like I'm actually doing one this next, I think it's on the 5th, but I have like Dr. Michelle Finnick. She's like a professor or whatever, but she was a guest on the show several times, and so I like to highlight women that's been on my show to be a part of the roundtable, because most of the women that are on there are other business owners, or maybe they're doctors or lawyers, defense attorneys, different things. They're all on there, and we just kind of talk about different topics. And I would
Yes.
love to have you as one of my highlighted guests for, that day. And it's just women, real women having real conversations. And we're talking about issues that we face and giving out our opinions and giving out our perspectives. And we're kind of learning from each other and networking at the same time.
May 5th. Let's see. Oh yeah. I have a wide open schedule right now on May 5th. So if we can get in there, get that scheduled, then I'm there. You're gonna be locked in with me. I want to listen to the episodes with all the women who will be in the circle. If you met other if you already interviewed other women there, because I really want to, it helps with knowing their background so I can like listen
Mm-hmm.
intentionally and like kind of have maybe even my own questions for them, you know what I mean?
Oh
Uh
yeah, if you go to my website, well, the one that I'm doing on Saturday, the business owner that I'm highlighting is Dr. Michelle Finnick.
mm,
She's, even though I'm highlighting, she's just still just a part of the conversation. I just advertise it like this is my special guest for today, and I advertise her, but basically she's just a part of the conversation. We're all just there as peers, and we're just talking about a topic. This topic is people pleasing, knowing when to say no, showing up sometimes, just showing up when you're not comfortable or when you don't feel like it,
mm,
different things that we experience in business and as a woman, and there was a lot of women on. I had like 85 women on threads to say they want to talk about that topic, but I could only get, I can't have that many people on the Zoom. So it's like I only selected like 8 of them.
mhm. That's a
Um,
lot already.
that is a lot.
I
So as
would
I'm
be
saying,
honored. I would
but
be honored.
yeah. So if you want to join the conversation, I would include you in, but I would like to highlight you on another day,
Okay.
to have the conversation. have a different conversation. You can come up with the topic, things that you experience, and we'll talk about it because she came up with that topic. I guess that was something that she was experiencing with the people pleasing and knowing
Oof.
when to say no and things like that.
That's a big thing that I'm working on right now with my therapist. With my wife is helping me with it. I've always kind of had an issue with it, like growing up in a community that's expecting you to like um pretty much do what they tell you to do, you know what I mean? And like, and also having a mom who has a public facing career. She's catering to all of her clients and I'm there with her. I kind of always had like a part of me that was like diplomatic and just like,
Mm,
yeah, I will do this for you. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
me too.
just how do I turn that service oriented part of myself off
It's
and
hard.
listen to what Octavia wants and Octavia needs and not cater
Yes.
to what that other person wants and needs. I'm learning that right now.
Same. I think a lot of us are because it's hard. We want to see people win. We want to help. We
Yes.
want to be of service, but at the same time, some people can take advantage of that.
Hmm.
So have to be
Hmm.
mindful
Real
of that.
bad.
'Cause that has been my experience.
I'm gonna listen to that. I'm going to listen to that episode, and I love your threads. You are popping on there. That is how I met
Thank you.
you. And so yeah, I will keep track of everything and add you to my
Okay.
podcast rotation. I'm big on like listening to podcasts while I'm driving around and
Oh,
stuff.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, cool. And I'll send you the link to this episode in case you have the time. It's at 2 o'clock Central Time on next Saturday. So not
Yeah,
next Saturday, the fifth, whatever
the
day the
fifth.
fifth is. I don't think that's next Saturday. It's the following
No,
Saturday.
it's the following one. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to send that to my family. Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I feel it's gonna be a cool. I think it's gonna be a cool conversation because I try to pick a lot of women that um have a lot more experience in business, have already reached a level of success to where they can kind of help other women, you know, because they have a lot of experience to give their knowledge on different journeys like you did today. It was so amazing the information that you gave. So I'm so excited to post this interview because that inspiring women to go get their law degrees, girl, you just don't even know.
Yeah, I don't hold back when I like try to motivate people to do that. Other people are like, I don't know, because because they're like
It's a work. It's a lot of
it's,
work.
yeah,
That's some
they
people are
thinking
afraid of the
about
work.
they thinking about the good and the bad as well. So they don't kind of want to push that on people, but I'm thinking about
Mm.
the benefits that I think
That's
that
what I'm thinking about. Just even having it on your resume as something else to add.
right. And how are we supposed to make the system more conducive to us if we always gonna be the minority?
Right. That is so true. See,
We
look
can
at
do
that.
the
We'll
way.
keep talking. Go ahead.
Yeah, literally, we can still keep talking about one. I'm gonna say one more thing. I'm gonna say one more thing. Another motive, because you are already. I got you one foot in the door with going to law school, so this is gonna help you
Yes.
push past. Um, in the 1960s, when affirmative action started to come up, and then it was passed to try to get more minorities into schools and jobs and things like that without discrimination. White women benefited from it the most, and I think most people know that, right? It's
I'm pretty
general
sure.
knowledge.
Yeah.
It's a statistic,
Yeah.
a fact, right? So they went from 4% of the legal profession to 30% in 10 years.
Wow.
Why can't we do that for Black women?
Uh, I'm sure we can. We can do
They
it.
they did it because they had brothers, fathers, uncles who were already lawyers who were like
That is
motivating
so
them, like,
true.
yeah, do it, do it,
That
do
is
it.
so true.
You know? But before that, people's mindset was like, you're a woman, you shouldn't be a lawyer. So all
Mm-hmm.
you had to do was change their mindset, change the system so it's not discriminating against them, and then phew, they were off to the races. I feel like yes, we have a systemic issue
We
with
do.
discrimination. However, the books that I'm reading right now, they update the statistics, right, on who's entering the legal profession. And one of the books I'm
Mm.
reading right now has says that like more Black people, percentage wise, are applying to law school than white people.
Really? I didn't know that.
Percentage wise. So, like,
Hmm.
out of the percentage of white people, there's a lower percentage of them who are um applying to law
Law
school
school.
versus out of the small percentage of Black people, there's a lot more of us relatively who
Okay.
are applying, right? So within our groups, there's more of us within our groups, but that's a huge thing. So
That
to
is.
put it in perspective of all the demographics, still there is about 11% of law school applicants who are Black.
Hmm.
Only 5% of us are practicing attorneys, but there's 11% of us at the starting line.
Wow.
That's a huge thing for us. And
Wow.
then people who are matriculating out of all of the demographics, 9% of them are Black.
Hmm.
So we're still a lot more of us at the starting line. And
We're
then
getting
people
there.
who graduate, 7% are graduating. But people who pass the bar exam, 5%.
Hmm.
And that's how we get it at the 5%. It's just
One.
it's a pattern.
So one question before we get out of here. I know we'll keep talking. I have a question. So when people do pass the bar exam and they do get their law degree, is there a specific area in law that you would recommend, or it doesn't matter? Should they just keep it broad and figure it out along the way?
You everybody has to get the JD like in a general curriculum, right? So
Hmm.
everybody has the same curriculum. In fact, in law school they give everybody their classes for the first year.
Okay.
You don't have a choice in which
Okay.
classes you're going to take. So you could elect to take certain certificate tracks. And so like I could have done an intellectual property entertainment law track starting at the
Mhm.
beginning of law
Okay.
school, but that took away from other opportunities I wanted to have, which was like be on the law school journal. And like I couldn't fit the IP classes that I needed for the certificate into
Hmm.
the electives that I wanted to take
Okay.
for being on the journal. So I didn't get the certificate, but I took most of the classes, right? So I can still tell people like I studied IP law in law school because that was
Okay.
most of my electives. I was missing maybe like two classes because instead I took my journals, my scholarly writing classes, and I was the editor in chief of our law review journal. So
Hmm.
that took a lot of my time.
Pretty good.
But it's the same for like if you want to do some sort of medical law track. There's some schools that are big in that. Sports law track. There's some schools that are big in that. Business law, specifically union law. You just got to see which schools you have that have like a
Hmm.
specific study track for that.
Got it.
Um, and if you wanted to create one, you could talk to the professors and see, like, hey, I know you got an interest in this area. Have you ever thought about creating a certificate program?
Oh,
Can I be
wow. I didn't know you
a
could do
student?
that.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Law school is so unique in the fact that like it's akin to a PhD program. It is, I
Mm.
mean, it's a doctorate, right?
Mm.
But people don't think about it like a PhD program.
Yeah,
So
because I didn't think of it like that either.
once you finish that first year, it's so much more flexibility in creating your experience and
Mm.
your process and your practice process. A lot of people just take the classes and graduate and go take the bar, right? But I
Mm.
participated in more of like shaping how my study track was going to be and
Oh, okay.
focusing more on like IP, for example.
Mm. That's smart.
Yeah, you can do that. Like I had a friend who wanted to be a who wanted to have her own family law practice after she graduated. And so she took classes that were, all of her electives were family law based. Like
Okay.
you have to take one family law or community property class when you're in law school, just one. But she
Mhm.
decided to take other ones as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Hmm.
Okay, well, that makes sense, everybody. She just broke it down for us and gave us, and we were supposed to say bye, but I kept talking.
Oh my God. Enjoy your Saturday.
I
We
will, and you enjoy yours too. And I'm gonna send you that link for May 5th. Put it on your calendar, two
Oh
o'clock
yeah.
Central Time.
Yeah, I will. Thank you
All
so much.
right. Bye.
Bye bye. See ya.
See ya.